Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we get the 390 that's in my 72 Sport Custom Camper Special back up and running after a top end rebuild. We had some rebuild heads and put the intake on it and rebuilt the carburetor. Did a whole bunch of stuff to this engine, so let's go see if we can fire it up. Let's go dig into it. Well guys, back to working on my 72 Sport Custom here with a 390. If you remember from the last time we worked on this, I redid the brakes and put new coil springs on it and a few other things. So if you missed that, go back and check that out. I'll have a card up here to show you, and also have a link to that video in the description if you can't find it. But anyway, today's episode, I'm going to get it back up and running. I have it tore down here, was getting... got some cylinder heads rebuilt here, hardened seats and everything, a few valves replaced, new valve guide on one of them. But got some rebuilt heads here. We're going to swap these heads out because this one has a burnt spot right here in the cylinder head where it had an exhaust leak. So I just had some new heads built up. So time to get this thing stripped down and cleaned up and back on the road. So let's get after it. Well guys, I got the heads pulled off. Wasn't too bad. Heads are there, got the intake there. Use the cherry picker to pull the intake because those things are heavy. But got the heads off. The bore's actually look in really nice shape. There's not much taper. There's a little bit of wear at the top, but you know, that's to be expected. It's actually in really nice shape. So the bores are all good. I was kind of worried, half worried that I was going to pull these heads off and find lots of bore taper, and just couldn't live with myself to put heads back on this engine. But it's actually in really nice shape. So just dirty. I need to clean it as good as I can. Probably should just pull it at this point, but I'm going to see if I can clean it in here as good as I can and get it presentable, and then we'll slap those other heads on. So we got to get after that. I got to clean all these rockers and everything too before we go back together, but we'll get that done. Hey guys, been doing a little bit of work to the truck. It's been a little bit since I wrenched on it last. Since the last clip you guys saw, I got my white 69 F350 back from paint, so I've been working on that truck, trying to get it back together, getting it ready to sell. But I'm waiting on the wheels to get back on it, so I thought I'd start working on this thing. I've done a little bit of work off camera just because I was trying to get stuff done quickly. I have got the block all cleaned up and all the parts all cleaned up. I have the heads, one head put on, the other head sitting here. I have the manifolds on with the gaskets and everything. But still have to put the other head on and get it bolted on. my plan is once I get this bolted on and the intake bolted on and everything kind of sealed up and valve covers on and stuff, then I'm going to roll it outside and see if I can steam clean this engine and get everything cleaned up a little bit. I did do a little bit of cleaning on it, but I think that steam cleaner will make easy work of that. So once I get everything sealed back up, I'm going to do that, and we'll see how we can make it look and see if we can make it presentable. Well, guys, it's been a minute since I've filmed working on this truck a little bit. I've got a little bit more done to the truck, so let me show you what I've been doing. You saw me get the valve train and everything put together on this. I got the valve covers on. Since then, I have hooked up the exhaust, rebuilt the carburetor, new gaskets, and cleaned all the passages in the carburetor, and hooked up all the little stuff on here, and I'm working my way through it. But now I want to, I think I'm pretty close to stabbing the distributor in so I can plug that hole up, and I'm going to push it outside and see if I can steam clean the front of this engine a little bit better and clean up some of the oily residue underneath it and everything and get it a little bit more presentable, since the top of the engine looks great and the bottom of the engine looks like old 50-year-old Ford 390. So I'm going to see if I can steam clean all that, maybe put a splash of paint on there if I think it's going to stick. If I don't think it's going to stick, I'm not going to bother. But I'll try to get that as clean as I can. I had to put a new heat riser tube, not new. I got a one that was complete. The other one broke when I took it off. Actually, it was already broke. It had a patch, rubber hose patch in it, and that tube gets really hot. That's why there's insulation on it and stuff. But there's a rubber hose patch on it, and that hose was just crumbled, and it rotted the tube out underneath it. But anyway, I got one that was complete. Put that in, and put a new insulation sleeve on it. Makes it look pretty nice. So yeah, moving right along. Not too far, we'll be done and getting this thing started. So I'm gonna get after cleaning the front of this engine and see how good I can get it. Well, guys, I got the front of the engine all cleaned off. I actually had started putting the water pump on and realized I hadn't filmed this yet, but I got the steam cleaner out and degreased everything up here. Got it cleaned up, the front cover as well. Got that all cleaned up. You're not going to see a lot of this because of the power steering pump and the AC compressor and all that extra stuff. It kind of covers it all up, but wanted to show you how I did. Did pretty good, I thought. I still have to clean everything on the side of the engine and underneath it. I did a little bit, but didn't get it all cleaned off. I'm going to get the engine running, obviously, and get it, I can drive around better, and before I clean all that stuff off and get it on the lift. But I got the water pump on, and now I'm going to start putting all the accessories on, try to get it running, make sure all that's right, and we don't have any big major leaks before I get everything put back together. But for now, everything's going pretty good, so I'm just going to keep plugging away at it. Well, guys, I think I got it together enough to try to start it at least just to pop it off. We don't have any water or anything in here. We'll see if it fires off, make sure everything's working as it should, and we don't have any major things wrong before I get it all buttoned up back together. But I'm going to put a little bit of gas in the carb and put a battery in it and just see if we can get it to pop off. It shouldn't be too complicated since we just did top end rebuild, but we'll see what happens. Well, that worked pretty good. Fired off. Had to mess with the timing a little bit to get it to idle good, get those lifters pumped up with oil. But yeah, it started off fired up pretty good. So now I'm going to finish putting it all back together, and then we'll run it for real. Well, guys, since we got this thing running, I think I'm going to call it good for this episode. This will be the second episode on this truck. I think I'm going to end up making a third episode because I got a lot more to do on this truck, and I don't really want to cram it into this video. So I'm going to end this video here. We got the truck running, everything's sounding good. I've started working on the timing, setting the timing and everything. But a few more things I have to do on the truck. We have a transmission leak, if you can see that there. The shifter shaft on the transmission is leaking, as well as the pan, and I need to do a new dash pad and a few other little things and do a bunch of cleaning on this truck before I get it ready to auction. So if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button so you know when that happens. Hit the like if you like this video and like this kind of content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.